Okay, July 28th. July 28th, 1932, in Washington, D.C., the Bonus Army was evicted from Washington, D.C. So what this was, Bonus Army, was 17,000 World War I veterans and their families. So a total of about 43,000 people had marched on Washington, D.C. They were penniless, they were poor, they really were looking for money in the form of the certificates that they'd been awarded in 1924. So in 1924, Congress passed an Adjusted Compensation Act that basically granted World War I veterans more money in the form of certificates, but they had to hold the certificates until 1945 before they could cash them. And so what the veterans were marching on Washington, D.C. to demand was that they be allowed to cash them immediately. The Attorney General sent in the Washington, D.C. police to try and disperse the crowd. There were some scuffles. A couple shots were fired. 2 veterans were killed, and the Washington, D.C. police retreated. So later in the day, President Hoover told the Army Chief of Staff at that time, General Douglas MacArthur, to disperse the crowd. And so Douglas MacArthur, with some infantry and cavalry and a couple of tanks, went across the river and pushed out the protesters. In the process, burning their belongings, their tents, shelters, everything, and just pushed out the families. And so again, that was 1932. The Bonus Army, also called the Bonus Expeditionary Force, was driven out of Washington, D.C. I'll see you tomorrow.